Hello and welcome to the Sleepy Universe. Tonight, you are not just listening, you are drifting. Let your breath soften and your eyes grow heavy as we begin a slow descent into time itself. Not the time of clocks and calendars, but the time that bends near stars, stretches with speed, and curls gently around gravity. This is a journey where the seconds may pause, and the future may be closer than you think. Breathe in and begin. Your chest rises and falls. A quiet inhale, a slower exhale. You don't notice the rhythm, but it's there, steady, like a soft drumbeat beneath your life. One breath, then another. Your pulse echoes quietly behind your ears, each thump a tiny whisper of time moving forward. And yet, you've already stepped into something stranger. Not every tick of your life happens on a clock. Some happen in how the sky darkens, or how your skin changes, or how your memories slip further behind you. You are always measuring time, but what if time is also measuring you? Time feels like something firm, like a road. You walk it, you leave footprints. You look back and see a trail. But the truth, whispered by the cosmos, is softer. Time is not a path made of stone. It is more like breath. It stretches, it contracts, it lives with motion. And the further from Earth you drift, the more you feel it shift. Time does not pass the same way everywhere. And this, quietly, is the first gift of the stars. Imagine standing still on Earth while watching a spacecraft rise toward the sky. From where you stand, the seconds tick normally. 1, 2, 3. But from the ship moving faster and higher, the seconds lengthen. They stretch, gently, like syrup poured into a dish. The astronaut inside the ship ages just a tiny bit more slowly than you. You don't notice it in a day or even a year, but it is real as breath. This soft slowing of time has a name, time dilation. And once you've felt it, you cannot forget how tender and strange it is. Time dilation happens because time itself is not separate from space. They are woven together like threads in the same cloth. When something moves quickly, or when it gets close to something massive, like a planet or a star, the threads of time stretch out. They lengthen, resisting the tug of forward motion. This isn't a trick. It's how the universe balances things, like water flowing more slowly through a thick pipe. Time resists haste near gravity and speed. You lie back and imagine this. A satellite orbiting Earth, its circuits humming. It has an atomic clock inside, the most precise kind humans can make. That clock runs ever so slightly faster than a matching clock on Earth. Why? Because the satellite is farther from the gravity well of our planet. Gravity bends time, and the deeper you are in its pull, the slower time moves for you. Your own feet, closer to Earth's center, experience time just a hair slower than your head. It's a difference so small you'll never feel it. But the universe does. Now picture yourself far from Earth, drifting near a black hole. The gravity there is unimaginably strong. If you were to hover close to it, but not fall in, hours might pass for you, while years pass elsewhere. A single orbit could take you forward through the lives of civilizations. The black hole doesn't steal time from you, it simply holds. You in a moment stretched thin, like twilight that refuses to end. You might wonder how we know this is true. How can something so dreamlike be real? But astronauts returning from long journeys in space do so just slightly younger than they would have been on Earth. Their time moved more slowly. GPS satellites orbiting above us must be constantly adjusted for time dilation, or they would quickly lose sync with earthbound clocks. Even machines can feel the breath of time changing, and yet the feeling remains poetic. Time, you begin to realize, is not a ruler or a metronome. It's more like a sea. You are not outside of it, watching it pass. You are swimming in it. You move through slow currents and fast ones, pulled softly by gravity and motion. Time carries you, even when you believe you are still. You think back to your heartbeat, your earliest clock. It never asked what time is. It only beats and changes and listens to the world around it. Your body is a quiet navigator of time. Your cells divide more slowly in deep sleep. Your memories fade faster when stressed. Even your dreams take their shape from how time feels, not how it ticks. Time is personal. Time is soft. And so you begin to wonder, if time stretches, if it slows, can it also break? Can it fold in on itself like silk, wrapping around a moment to protect it? Can it be rewound, paused, skipped? Or do we only move one way, no matter how gently the path curves? These are not questions you must answer tonight. It is enough to know that time is not fixed. It is not rigid. It is not cold. It is alive, a quiet presence shaped by where you are, how fast you move, and what holds you near. The breath of time touches everything, and in the stillness, you begin to feel it touch you back. But what happens when you leave this world behind? What happens when you take a clock to the edge of a star, or deeper still? Would you hear time's breath there? Or would it slow to silence? You drift now toward the edge, where clocks disagree, where gravity bends time like soft glass, where two paths begin to tick out of sync. And there, two twins wait, one on earth and one ready to fly. You imagine holding two clocks in your hands, identical in every wake, crafted with the same precision, ticking in harmony. You place one on your nightstand here on earth, safe and still beneath the weight of air and time. The other you send drifting outward, slowly at first, then faster, until it circles the edge of a dense, burning star. You wait, you watch, you compare, and soon something quiet and impossible begins to happen. The two clocks, once in perfect rhythm, begin to disagree. Not by fault, not by flaw, because one has wandered closer to the edge of something deeper, something more curved. The clock near the star slows down. Not its hands, not its gears, those move smoothly, but time itself, the very medium through which the clock lives, stretches like pulled wool. Its seconds become longer, its minutes unfurl. This is no illusion. The hands keep pace with the world they're in, but that world is different now. Gravity is not just a force pulling downward, is a curve in the fabric of time itself. The heavier the object, the deeper its dent in space and time. And that dent pulls not only light, not only matter, but the tempo of existence. Einstein once said that mass tells space how to curve, and space tells objects how to move, but it also tells time how to breathe. And near massive thing stars, planets, black holes, that breath becomes slower, thicker, quieter, as if time, like air, becomes harder to push through. And so the clock by the star does not lag because it's lazy. It is simply living in a thicker kind of now. You lie back and picture it, one clock by your bed, one clock dancing at the rim of a star's fury. You don't need to be there to know what would happen. You already carry the evidence with you, GPS. Satellites must account for this time distortion every moment they hover above us. Without correction, their readings would drift miles off in just a day. Your phone's location, your map's direction, would lose their grip on the world. Engineers must gently nudge the satellite's clocks forward, compensating for the slower tick that comes from moving through less gravity, even in orbit, even nearby. Time bends just enough to matter. Now stretch the idea further. Trade a star for a black hole. Near its event horizon, the edge beyond which not even light returns, time slows almost to a stop. Not for the person falling in, who would still feel the seconds passing as usual, but for the watcher far away, the person observing from a safe distance. The falling body would appear to freeze, to hover just above the boundary, forever paused. Their clock, as seen from far away, slows toward stillness. You begin to realize that time has no single speed. It depends on who is watching, and from where. So you ask yourself, what is time? If not a shared truth, if two clocks can disagree, what of two hearts, two lives? Could someone far from a gravity well grow old, while another nearby barely ages? Could a traveler close to a black hole return to find their world centuries older, their memories fresher than the ruins they returned to? And the answer, quietly, is yes. You don't need science fiction to travel through time. You only need gravity, or speed, or patience. The universe already allows it. The universe already does it. Every object in motion, every mass with weight, is shaping the rhythm of its own time. And you, without knowing it, are part of this drift. Every footstep you take moves you slightly faster. Every plane ride, every orbit, changes your clock by tiny measures. Most go unnoticed, hidden in the noise of daily life. But some, when stretched far enough, become wonder. There's comfort in this, isn't there? The idea that time is not rigid, that it yields, that it listens, that it changes depending on where you are and how you move. It means you are not trapped in one current. You can slow time, stretch it, lean into it. Not by magic, but by understanding the curve of the world beneath your feet. You are not only in time, you are part of how it flows. You think again of the two clocks, the one on Earth ticking in sync with your breathing, the other circling fire, its seconds wider, its hours diluted. Neither one is wrong. They are simply living different versions of now, and in that there is a quiet poetry. A reminder that every moment holds many truths, depending on where you stand. But what if, instead of clocks, you watched people? What if two identical lives split apart, one launched into space, the other left behind? Would time treat them the same? Would they meet again unchanged? You close your eyes and feel the thought unfold. A pair of twins. One stays, one journeys. One counts days on Earth, the other orbits fast and far. And when they return to each other, one has aged more. The clocks in their hearts no longer match. And so you drift toward that next story, one of motion, memory, and the soft argument. Between time and speed, one twin remains, one twin flies. And somewhere between them, time stretches like a promise. You imagine them clearly two twins, born seconds apart, identical in every cell. They grow up under the same sky, learning to walk, to wonder, to dream. Their laughter echoes the same tone. Their minds, mirrors. But one day, one of them steps into something extraordinary. A ship, sleek and humming with promise, waits to carry them far from Earth, not for a moment, not for a joyride, but for a journey at speeds close to light itself. The twin who stays behind stands at the edge of the launch pad, hand raised in farewell, not yet knowing what time will do, and neither of them yet feels the slow splitting of their future. This is the thought experiment known as the twin paradox. A paradox not because it breaks logic, but because it stretches our intuition, pulling on the thread of what we think we know about aging, time, and the cost of speed. According to the deep rhythm of relativity, time ticks more slowly for those who move quickly, and so the twin aboard the ship will experience time differently, less of it. Not just in theory, not just as illusion, but in the very cells of their body. You close your eyes and imagine the voyage. The ship leaves Earth behind, threading through stars and silent voids, gaining speed until it cruises just beneath the speed of light. Decades pass on Earth. Seasons blur. Cities grow and fall. Friends age. New voices fill old rooms. And still the ship glides, quiet as a held breath, far beyond radio reach. But for the traveler, it does not feel like decades. Time inside the ship is stretched. A year, maybe two. Meals eaten, journals written, dreams dreamt, but fewer of them, when at last the ship returns, and the twin steps out what should be. A reunion is something more complex. The earthbound twin has grey in their hair, lines near their eyes, stories they've carried for 20 years. But the traveler, their sibling, looks much the same. A body not frozen, but gently slowed. A soul caught in a different current. The paradox reveals itself in the simplest way. They began together, but now they live in different moments of the same story. This isn't a magic trick. It's not science fiction. It's one of the most quietly proven truths of physics. Particle experiments, satellite clocks, astronaut missions whisper the same message. Time depends on motion. And if you go fast enough, long enough, you can stretch your present far beyond someone else's future. It's not that the traveler skips ahead in time. It's that they move through time differently. Time is not just what happens to you, it's where you are and how you move. You return to the twins in your mind. They sit across from each other now, hands folded, eyes searching. So much the same, so much unshared. The one who stayed has photographs of birthdays, of passing seasons, of sunsets alone. The one who flew has starlight stories, vast silences, and a deep sense of stillness. Each has lived fully, but differently. Their ages no longer match, though their hearts might. You might feel the ache of this, the soft sorrow of time untied. And yet, there's beauty in it too. The idea that time is flexible, that it responds to your journey, your motion, your path, that if you chose to, you could stretch a second or slip inside it. Time isn't flat, it listens, it bends. The paradox also teaches something quieter, that simultaneity is an illusion. To events you think happen at the same time, one here, one far away, may not be truly simultaneous at all. Depending on how you're moving, what you call now may not be now to someone else. The universe doesn't agree on a shared present. It allows many presents, each with its own clock. And so your life becomes a thread among many woven into a vast, shimmering fabric with no single center. You are not lost in this. You are not small. You are part of the rhythm. Your own body carries traces of this flexibility. Your atoms were born in stars. Your thoughts happen slower in dreams. Your perception of time shifts when you are joyful or afraid or still. You already feel what the twin paradox proves, that time is not strict. It is shaped by emotion, motion, and memory, so you drift again, not just through space, but through understanding. What else might change if you kept moving? What other clocks might break their harmony? If two twins can age differently, what happens to light, to gravity, to the space between? And gently, you begin to wonder about light itself. The fastest thing in the universe, it carries time, too. But what does it see? If you could ride alongside a beam of light, would time stop completely? Would you witness all of history paused before you? You exhale, and the question remains. The twins stand. Quietly now, reunited but not rewound. And just beyond them, something brighter calls. Light, constant, mysterious. Waiting by imagining a race. You with all your motion, your breath, your forward push, running beside a beam of light. You push faster, press harder, try to keep up. But no matter how far or how quickly you move, the light never changes pace. It travels at exactly the same speed, always. Not relative to you, not to the Earth, not to the galaxy itself. This is strange, stranger than it first seems. Because, in the world you know, speed always feels relative. Cars pass you, winds blow past trees, rivers rush beside stones. But light behaves differently. It keeps its rhythm across every frame of reference, every point of view. Whether you're still or flying at unimaginable speed, light always races past you at the same velocity, 299,792 kilometers per second. This unchanging pace is the heartbeat of Einstein's theory of relativity. It's the reason time bends, the reason simultaneity breaks. If light refused to bend its pace to the moving observer, then something else must give. And what gives, gently, invisibly, is time itself. Time stretches to preserve the constancy of light. Space flexes, clocks slow, rulers shrink, all to ensure that this one rhythm, the speed of light, remains untouched. And now you imagine what it means to be light, not just to follow it, but to become it, a photon, born in the core of a star or the spark of a moment, speeds outward the instant it exists. It has no mass, no rest, no stillness. It is motion, pure and uninterrupted. From its own perspective, if it could have one, no time passes at all. A photon born at the edge of a galaxy and received by your eye a billion years later experiences no journey. For light, all destinations are instantaneous. There is no wait, no path, just arrival. This thought is heavy in a soft way. Light, the messenger of the cosmos, travels through the fabric of time and space, untouched by either. It brings us everything. We know of the stars, the galaxies, the birth of the universe. When you look at a distant nebula or a fading sun, you aren't seeing them as they are. You are seeing them as they were. Light is time's photographer, capturing moments long gone and delivering them, slowly and perfectly, to your present. You lie still, imagining light weaving through the universe like thread in a vast cosmic quilt, through gas, dust, gravitational lenses, around planets, between particles, always moving, always constant. And yet, even light isn't entirely free. It bends near mass, not because it slows, but because space itself bends. A massive planet or black hole can curve the space around it, and light, always obedient to geometry, follows the curve. We call this gravitational lensing, but in truth, Light is simply moving through a curved landscape, always straight in its own world, always graceful, and you begin to realize something deeper. That light isn't just a tool for sight, it's a structure in the universe. It defines what is possible, what can be known. No information can travel faster than it. No cause can outrun its effect. It sets the boundary between what can influence what. Even causality itself, the flow of past to future, is shaped by the speed of light. But more than that, light is memory. When you open your eyes, photons strike your retina, some only nanoseconds old, others millions of years in flight. Your vision is stitched together from various pasts, and so is your understanding. The light you see has already lived. What you know of the cosmos is always a kind of echo, a soft delay. The universe doesn't show you its now, only its then, and yet. Light also touches your now more intimately than anything else. It warms your skin, it guides your steps. It brings colors into being, shadows into motion. Even your thoughts are shaped by light. The neurons in your mind, flickering and firing, operate through the same electromagnetic forces that govern light's dance. You are not separate from light, you are woven with it. So you ask, if you could travel at light speed, what would you see? What would the universe look like if you could freeze time the way light does? But then you remember, you can't. Anything with mass, no matter how small, cannot reach that speed. The closer you approach it, the more energy it takes, the more time stretches, the more your body resists. The universe, it seems, protects light's path, keeps it sacred, keeps it alone, and yet light touches you every moment. Your eyes, your heartbeat, the way you feel warmth through a window, all built from light's passage. You may not travel with it, but you carry it, you reflect it, you remember it, and perhaps, in the quietest parts of your being, you understand it. The beam of light you once tried to chase now seems less like a race and more like a whisper, an invitation not to catch it, but to listen, to understand how the universe builds, rhythm around a single constant, how all of time is folded gently around a single breathless motion. But if light is the messenger, what is it telling us? What lies beyond its reach, in the places where even photons never arrive? You close your eyes and begin to wonder. Is the edge of the universe where the last light fades, or where time itself can no longer speak? You begin with your feet, on the ground, feeling the pull of earth beneath you. Gravity, that quiet, invisible hand, holds you close, anchoring you to the spinning world. But gravity does more than hold. It bends, it curves the space around it, and with that curve, time leans ever so slightly. You may not feel it, but your body is stretched across a gradient of time. Your head, a little farther from the Earth's center, experiences time ever so slightly faster than your toes. The difference is tiny fractions of a second over a lifetime, but it's there, steady and real. Imagine two clocks. One sits in a valley, nestled between quiet mountains. The other rests high on a snowy peak. Both tick, both hum with the rhythm of seconds. But if you watch them closely, you would find that the mountain clock runs just a bit faster. Higher. Up, where gravity's pull is weaker, time flows more freely. Down in the valley, where gravity grips tighter, time is slowed. It is not broken, just softened, stretched, as if gravity weighs on time the same way it weighs on your body. This is gravitational time dilation. It means that time is not an absolute drumbeat echoing through the universe. Instead, it is sensitive to mass, to distance, to position. Time listens to the landscape. It listens to the weight of stars, to the bulk of planets, to the curves and folds of space-time. And in return, time bends with grace. You begin to picture the earth not as a sphere alone, but as a field of time flowing at different speeds. Mountains become places where time moves more quickly. Deep canyons are slow pools of memory. The difference is small, yet it means everything. Our GPS satellites, floating above Earth, must account for these tiny variations. If they didn't, our navigation systems would drift, leading us miles astray each day. Even the machines that guide us through cities and forests must bow to time's flexibility. But this is not only true on Earth. In space, the effect becomes profound. Near a massive planet like Jupiter, time ticks more slowly than in deep space. Near a black hole, time stretches almost to stillness. Imagine standing on the edge of such an object, watching the universe above you spin forward, while your own seconds drip like molasses. From the outside, someone watching you might see you frozen in place. From your point of view, their world races ahead. You feel this thought move through you like a tide. That time is not just a background, but something shaped by where you are, by what surrounds you. It changes with the weight of matter, with the dance of energy, with the terrain of the cosmos. It is not flat, it is not rigid. It flows like water, deeper here, shallower there, catching in valleys and slipping quickly. Across peaks, now imagine standing atop Everest. Your heart beats the same. Your lungs pull thinner air. But above the world, even slightly, you live just a little faster. Not in perception, but in physics. Time itself is different. All over the world, mountain climbers and ocean divers live, ever so slightly apart. Time is never one thing for all people. It is personal. It listens to your location. This also means something curious. There is no universal now. There is no perfect slice of time that applies to the entire cosmos. Your now and the now of someone on a star far away are not the same. Time does not march forward as one unit. It flows differently in different streams, in different eddies, shaped by the folds of gravity, and so you begin to think of time not as a river with a single current, but as a sea with many tides. Some fast, some slow, some swirling, some still. You are a sailor on this sea, not in control of its motion, but gently carried by it. The stars, the planets, the atoms of your bones, all drift together, each in their own rhythm. This too is part of Einstein's great insight. Gravity is geometry. Mass bends space. Space tells matter how to move, and matter tells time how to flow. You are not merely existing in time. You are shaped by its slope, held in the gentle grip of Earth's time pull. Every mountain, every valley, every orbit changes the tempo of the clock that ticks behind your thoughts. You lie back in your imagination, feeling the pull of Earth from within. Not harsh, not heavy, but grounding, comforting. It holds you not just physically, but temporally. You are part of a rhythm deeper than heartbeat, deeper than memory, a rhythm shaped by stars and stone, and you wonder if time bends so easily. To gravity, what else might bend it? Could motion, speed, or even consciousness itself alter the flow? You begin to feel time less like a ticking metronome and more like a soft breath, sometimes long, sometimes short, always affected by where you are and how you move. So you rest in this quiet realization that even your stillness is not truly still. Your moments are tilted by the curve of the earth, by your place in its embrace. And you begin to ask, if time is shaped by space, then is space also shaped by time? What would it mean to walk across space where time no longer behaves as we expect? You begin in stillness, your body quiet, breath even, surrounded by a world that moves at its usual pace. Seconds pass like soft waves, each one gently following the last. But as soon as you imagine yourself moving, not just walking or running, but flying, speeding, chasing the very edge of light, time begins to fold in unusual ways. It no longer walks beside you at the same rhythm. It stretches, softens, lags behind. You have entered the realm of motions, time, the realm of special relativity. Time dilation, you now understand, comes not just from gravity, but from motion itself. The faster you go, the more time slows for you, compared to someone who stays still. This isn't imagination or trickery. It's as real as the pulse in your wrist. If you could fly near the speed of light, your own seconds would drip more slowly than those of someone on Earth. You could race away for what feels like a year, only to return and find that decades have passed for everyone else. And so you imagine yourself on a spacecraft, sleek and silent, slipping through the void. The engines hum with quiet energy. Stars ahead seem to stretch, and those behind smear like wet paint. Your ship travels faster and faster, close to the speed limit of the universe, the speed of light. Inside the cabin, you feel normal. You eat, sleep, think. Your watch ticks calmly on your wrist. But far away, on Earth, the clocks are racing ahead. The people you knew are growing older. Time around you is different, because you are moving differently. Einstein showed us this truth. Time is not universal, it is personal, relative. Motion shapes how fast your time flows, just as gravity does. Speed becomes a sculptor of moments. At rest, time flows evenly. In motion, it leans, it curves. The faster you go, the steeper the angle of your time. And so, the universe rewards the still with duration and rewards the swift with delay. This is not just theory, it is tested and true. Astronauts aboard the International Space Station move fast enough that their clocks tick slightly slower than those on Earth. Not by much, but enough to measure. They return to Earth a few nanoseconds younger than they would have been. Motion gave them a pause, a subtle stretching of life's ribbon. You imagine the twins, one stays on Earth. The other takes a journey into space at near light speed. When the traveler returns, they are still young, but their sibling has aged. The same birth, but different durations. The twin who moved fast skipped forward in time, not by magic, but by motion. Speed changed their timeline. Their clocks diverged. This thought makes you feel small and vast all at once. Time is not something that simply passes. It is something you influence. With gravity, with motion, with your path through the cosmos. You wonder what this means for memory, for growth, for destiny. Are we all weaving personal tapestries of time, with no two exactly alike? You now imagine a civilization that lives on a starship, moving fast, generation after generation. They sail through space with time slowed for them. The universe outside rushes on. Galaxies spin, planets form and die. But within their vessel, only a few decades pass. They are travelers, not just of space, but of time itself. Time dilation becomes a tool, a way to explore not only distance, but future. The faster you go, the less of the universe's aging you share. Time protects you from the erosion of years. but also separates you from the world's heartbeat. The stars you leave behind may no longer shine when you return. The people you knew may be memories carried in slowed breath. And this, too, hums like a lullaby. That speed gives you power, but takes something in return. You cannot move fast without letting go of synchronicity. The faster you rush, the more you drift. Away from shared now. There is beauty in this, and sadness too. So you rest in this thought, that even motion can change time. That the world you carry within you moves to your own tempo, shaped by how you travel. It is not just clocks that drift. It is lives, connections, histories, and yet it also opens a door. If you could endure the loneliness, you could see the far future. You could witness what becomes of stars and stories, simply by flying away and coming back. But for now, you remain still again. You feel time catch up to you. The rhythm returns to normal, steady, kind. And in that rhythm, you ask quietly, if speed and gravity bend time, then what lies in a place where both collide? Where motion is immense, and gravity deeper than words. Would time fall into silence there? Would it vanish, or become something else entirely? You imagine light not as brightness, but as a traveler, tireless, ageless, unblinking. A photon is born, perhaps from the surface of a distant star, perhaps from your lamp, or from the edge of a black hole. It begins its journey and never stops. It doesn't rest. It doesn't remember. It simply moves forever at the speed limit of the universe, the speed of light. This is the line that no material object can cross. It is not a wall, but a law, quiet, perfect, unbroken. To move at the speed of light is to experience no time at all. For the photon, there is no before or after. There is only the going. From the moment of its creation to the moment of its absorption, even if billions of years apart, the photon lives in a single eternal instant. You think of that, of what it means to exist in a kind of frozen forever. No aging, no waiting, no delay, just motion, just presence. You close your eyes and imagine yourself moving faster and faster. The stars stretch, the dark deepens. As your speed nears light, time slows for you. Distances shorten, the universe tilts. Everything seems to flow toward you, as though space itself is folding into your path. This is the strange truth. The faster you go, the more space contracts ahead, the more time bends around you. And as you approach light, these effects become infinite. You can never quite reach it. Like chasing your own shadow, the speed of light always stays just beyond your touch. But light is more than a speed. It is the very structure of space and time. The equations that govern reality are shaped around its constancy. It gives the universe a frame, a shape, a rhythm. Even though you cannot reach it, everything you do is measured against it. Time slows as you near it. Energy rises. Mass increases. The universe responds to your motion, always honoring the rule. Nothing with mass can touch light's edge, and yet you are surrounded by it. Every morning sunbeam, every star's flicker, every breath warmed by a candle, all come from light. These photons are tiny messengers, carrying information from one place to another. The ones you see tonight may have left their origins before Earth had oceans. They've journeyed across vast nothing, unhindered, until at last they touch your eye and vanish. And what a journey it is! Across voids so deep that even time feels thinner. Across cosmic webs spun from gravity and dark matter. Photons trace the shape of the universe for you. They tell you what is out there, and how far it lies. Without light, you would be blind not just in vision, but in history. You would not know the stars, the galaxies, the birth of cosmic background. Light, you would not know how the universe expands, or how old it is. Light is memory made visible. You begin to feel this light, not as something apart, but something within. You are made of atoms forged in stars, and each of those atoms once emitted or absorbed light. Your eyes evolved to see it. Your skin feels its warmth. Your thoughts depend on the photons passing through your nerves, triggering the chemistry of experience. Light is not separate. It is part of your language, your life, your very being, and still it humbles you. Thus something so familiar is also unreachable, that the very thing illuminating your world lives in a state you can never touch. You can get close, you can slow time, but you can never become light. That boundary is the dividing line between matter and energy, between movement and TLESSNESS. It makes you wonder what it means to never age, to have no present, no past, no future, only a single, unbroken instant. Perhaps photons are not lonely, perhaps they are free. They need no memory. They carry no burden. They arrive without having waited. You reflect on how light defines causality, what comes before, what comes after. It draws the light cone around every moment, marking the limits of influence. What you see now comes from your past. What you do now sends light towards someone else's future. Everything is bounded by these cones, these silent shapes of possibility. The photon's journey defines the flow of cause to effect. So you rest beneath this truth, that light, in its speed and stillness, is both a messenger and a wall. It tells you what can be known. It marks the edges of what can be touched. You will never ride with it, but you always walk in its glow dot, and as you lie, still, wrapped in that glow, a thought lingers. If nothing can move faster than light, is it possible for anything to fall behind so far it vanishes from sight? Is there a boundary beyond which even light cannot return? A place where time stops not because of speed, but because of gravity, so deep that no photon can escape. And so, gently, your mind begins to drift toward the edge of a black hole. You drift now toward the edge of forgetting, a place where light begins its final journey and never comes back, not because it chooses to, but because it cannot. There is no violence here, no explosion, no force that pushes you away, only the gentle, irresistible pull of gravity that grows deeper and quieter as you approach. You are nearing a black hole, a region of space so dense, so curved, that not even light, the swiftest traveler, can escape it. The boundary you near is called the event horizon. It is not a wall, not a surface you could touch. It is simply a limit, a soft, invisible line drawn by the shape of space itself. Once crossed, all paths curve inward. No message can return. No signal can escape. Even time, for anything inside, becomes a spiral toward an unreachable center. This place is not the absence of light. It is the ending of its journey. You imagine hovering near this edge. To an outside observer, you appear too slow. Your motion stretches. Your clock ticks more slowly. As you fall closer, time dilates. Further, until from far away you seem frozen just at the edge, never quite entering. But from your own perspective, you drift onward smoothly, feeling only the tug of deep space guiding you in. There is no jolt, no sudden break, only the quiet surrender to curvature. Black holes are formed when mass collapses beyond a certain limit. A giant star runs out of fuel, its inner fire no longer strong enough to hold it up. It caves in, folding upon itself, shrinking to a point called a singularity, a place where the known rules of physics fall silent. Around this center, the event horizon forms, like a cloak drawn across the chest of time. From the outside, you cannot see what lies within, not because it's hidden, but because it cannot be shown. You pause in your thoughts, staring at the sphere of darkness. It casts no shadow, it emits no light, yet it shines in its own way, not with brightness, but with influence. You can see its presence by what it does to the world around it. It bends the paths of nearby stars. It warps the light of galaxies behind it. Its pull is felt in the orbits of objects far away. It is invisible and yet deeply known, and more than that, it sings. Black holes can merge, and when they do, they ripple the very fabric of space, creating gravitational waves. These waves are not sound, but something deeper, a stretching and squeezing of space-time itself. Like tremors from a cosmic drum, they pass through you now and then, unnoticed by your senses, but caught by the delicate instruments on Earth, instruments that listen to the universe's silent music. You begin to sense the elegance of this paradox, that something so dark could tell such a vivid story, that a place which erases light could illuminate our deepest questions, that black holes, though feared for so long, are not devourers. They are quiet historians, keeping the secrets of what has fallen in. But do they truly forget? Or do they remember in a way we have yet to understand? This question lingers, because physics says information cannot be destroyed. Every particle, every wave, every event, all of it leaves a trace. But what happens to that information when it falls past the event horizon? Does it vanish, or is it stored, encoded somehow in the skin of the horizon, as some scientists believe, a kind of cosmic ledger written in gravity? Some believe the event horizon itself holds the key, that the information is not lost, but painted faintly on that boundary. Others believe it is released slowly over time, as the black hole evaporates through a strange quantum process called Hawking radiation. These thoughts drift like fog in your mind, soft and unsettled. You are not here for answers, you are here for the wonder. Because here, in this quiet place where light forgets its way, you are reminded of how much we don't yet know, of how mystery shapes the edges of our understanding. Black holes don't just swallow matter, they swallow certainty, and in doing so, they offer something even more valuable: questions. Beautiful, boundless questions. You rest near this horizon, suspended in thought. The gravity is immense, but you feel no fear. It's as if the black hole is not calling you, but simply existing, allowing you to come closer if you wish, to feel the silence that comes from perfect absorption, to sense the bend of time so deep that seconds could stretch into years. And then, as you hover on this boundary, a final idea flickers. If a black hole pulls everything inward, could something ever push it away? If there is collapse, is there also expansion? Somewhere in this curved universe, is there a force, silent and strange, that pushes galaxies apart instead of pulling them in? And with that thought, you begin to drift outward again, wondering what lies behind the quiet push of dark energy. You find yourself floating far from the gravity wells of black holes, beyond the spiral arms of galaxies, beyond even the brightest clusters. Here, in the wide, dim quiet between the stars, something else takes hold. Not a pull like gravity, but a gentle, endless push, a slow, cosmic exhale. You don't feel it against your skin or hear it in your ears, but it surrounds you. It lifts the fabric of space, stretching it like a breath that never ends. This is dark energy, a name for a force we don't understand, a presence that moves without sound, without shape, without origin. For a long time, you thought the universe should slow down. After all, everything pulls on everything else. Galaxies have mass. Stars have gravity. Shouldn't that make the expansion of the cosmos gradually decelerate? But when we looked closely, watched the light from distant supernova like distant flares, we found the opposite. The universe is not just expanding, it's accelerating. That quiet push is growing stronger with time. No one knows what dark energy truly is. It's not a particle, not a wave, not like anything we've measured. It's as if space itself contains energy, a hidden fuel woven into its fabric. The more space you have, the more of it there is. And so, as the universe expands, dark energy expands with it, gently speeding everything apart. You picture it not as a wind, but as the stretch of the ocean tide, invisible, relentless, soft. Galaxies drift like lanterns caught in a silent current, not because they are being moved, but because the space between them is growing. This isn't motion as you know it, it's growth, a slow flowering of the cosmos. The distances increase, not from propulsion, but from the soft unfolding of reality itself. You close your eyes and imagine each star drifting further from its neighbor, like luminous islands floating away on a dark sea. And the strangest part, this energy makes up most of the universe. When we add the mass of all the stars, all the gas, all the dark matter, it's still just a small fraction. Dark energy makes up nearly 70% of everything, and yet we don't know what it is. You feel that mystery settle over you like mist. So much of what exists is invisible, not because it's hidden, but because we don't yet know how to look. Scientists measure dark energy's effects through its influence on expansion. They chart the rate at which distant galaxies recede. They build maps of ancient light, ripples frozen from the dawn of time. And still, dark energy doesn't speak. It doesn't leave fingerprints. It only whispers through distance and time, through the growth of voids and the chill of the cosmic background. It is silence made into motion. You wonder, will this expansion go on forever? Will the stars grow so distant that their light never reaches one another? Will every galaxy become an island, isolated in an ocean too wide to cross? The future of everything, of stars, of planets, of thought, may depend on how this invisible force behaves. Some believe dark energy will remain constant, allowing the universe to expand forever, cooling and dimming slowly until only darkness remains. Others wonder if it might grow stronger, tearing galaxies apart, then stars, then atoms, in a slow and final unraveling called the Big Rip. Still others dream that it might change direction, stop, or even reverse, bringing all things home again in a collapse. But for now, it expands, and in that expansion there is a kind of grace. The universe is not stagnant, it is always becoming. You rest within that becoming, a single mind in a sea of stretching time. The stars you see now are farther away than when you began this thought. The photons arriving at your eye come from a place now much more distant than it was when they left. Even your own body, though bound by gravity, lives inside this expansion. Every breath you take is carried within a growing cosmos. You think again of black holes, where gravity pulls everything inward, and now of dark energy, which opens everything outward. One collapses, the other expands. One devours, the other unfolds. They are not enemies, but partners. Yin and yang, inhale and exhale. The universe is a balance between these quiet extremes. You breathe in the thought that space is not empty. It is alive. It has structure, rules, and energy. It carries. Light carries motion, carries the rhythm of time itself. And within it, everything drifts. Galaxies spin, stars orbit, matter cools. But space grows, and so you drift to mind, floating in thought, wrapped in the slow music of dark energy. And just before sleep takes hold, a final question flickers. If the universe expands faster and faster, does time itself change its rhythm? Could there be places or moments where the future moves differently than you expect, where clocks don't agree, where time itself bends not only near gravity, but across the widening folds of space? You sit quietly now, imagining the ticking of time, not from a watch on your wrist or a clock on a wall, but from the pulse of your own breath, the quiet beat of your heart. This is how time feels personal, steady, familiar. But the deeper you wander into the cosmos, the more you notice. Not all clocks agree. Time is not a constant melody. It is a song that changes depending on where you are, how fast you move, and what surrounds you. Einstein taught us this with gentle precision. In his theory of relativity, he showed that time is woven into space, a fabric, not a backdrop. And like fabric, it can stretch and fold. A clock in one part of the universe may tick slower or faster than another, simply because of gravity or motion or the deep architecture of space-time. You float near a star now, its mass bending the fabric around it. Time here moves more slowly than it does far away in deep space. Not in a way you feel immediately, but in the soft difference that accumulates over years, decades, eons. An astronaut orbiting close to a black hole ages more slowly than someone waiting far away. A traveler moving near the speed of light returns home to find the world older, changed. While they remain nearly the same, this is time dilation, not science fiction, but science fact. And though your own life is tethered to Earth's pace, these truths shape the satellites above you, the signals that guide your phone, the precise dance of GPS systems that must account for the bending of time just to tell you where you are. Imagine two twins. One stays on Earth, the other boards a ship and flies near the speed of light for many years. When the traveling twin returns, they are younger than the one who stayed. Not by illusion, not by error, but by the very laws of nature. The faster you move, the slower time passes for you from the perspective of those left behind. The universe does not have a single shared clock. It tells time differently for every traveler. And it's not just speed. Gravity also plays its part. The deeper you fall into a gravitational well, the slower time flows. Time crawls near a black hole, pauses at its edge. If you lived your whole life near the surface of a massive star, and someone else lived far from any mass, they would age faster than you. This does not break time. It reveals time's nature. You think of ancient starlight, arriving after billions of years. Some of it left galaxies when Earth was still molten. Some when dinosaurs still walked. Some left before humans were a thought. And yet, to the photon itself, moving always at the speed of light, no time passes at all. From the light's point of view, it begins and ends its journey instantly. A straight line from emission to arrival, timeless and unmeasured. Light does not experience time. This puzzles you gently. You turn it over like a smooth stone in your hand, you, bound by time, trying to imagine what it means to escape it. And you realize, to understand time, you must also understand motion, mass, and the shape of everything. Time is not a separate thread. It is part of the weave. Physicists speak of space-time, not space and time. They are bound together, curved by matter, altered by energy. You cannot move through space without affecting time. You cannot experience time without a place to be. Every journey is a dance through both. Never just a path, but a stretch of becoming. You close your eyes and imagine time as a river. It flows more quickly in the shallows, more slowly in the deep bends. You are a boat, sometimes drifting, sometimes rowing, always caught in its current. Some boats pass faster, others lag behind, but all follow their own course, drawn by the shape of space-time itself. Even on Earth, your head ages faster than your feet, just slightly, because it's farther from the center of gravity. Astronauts on the International Space Station age just a little more slowly than people on the ground. These differences are tiny but real, and they remind you that time is not uniform. It is textured. And what about the far future? In a universe where space stretches and galaxies recede, how will clocks keep time? Will distant galaxies tick slower or faster than ours? Will alien minds, if they exist, experience decades as we do? Or are there places where one moment stretches for centuries, and others where centuries flicker by in a heartbeat? You breathe with that thought, the vastness of time, the gentleness of its stretch. It is not something to conquer or control. It is something to listen to move with, to measure not in seconds, but in feeling. And so, as you lie still beneath the stars, you understand that time is not simply passing. It is shaping you, bending around you, flowing with you. Every heartbeat is a ripple in a larger sea. And just before you fall into sleep, one question glows. If time can stretch and bend, then could there be places or moments where the future touches the now, where something ahead has already left its impression on the present? And now, as the last ripples of time quiet themselves in your thoughts, you lie still beneath the soft weight of wonder. The universe holds its secrets in curved space and ticking stars, but tonight you have listened deeply. Whether the future is watching or simply waiting, you are part of its unfolding. Let your body rest, your mind drift, and your dreams carry you gently into the next breath of time. Good night.